So
can I ask another question real quick? Do you think that they will make some ships that are strictly earnable in game? Like if they had said the F8 was earnable in game, do you think there will always be a dollar sign even later on?
100%. Okay. After the F8C, when they dropped the F8C, it was the only one I was hoping for. And then after they did that, I'm like, CIG will never not sell ships. Okay. I've always thought that, but now I know, like, I don't think there'll be a single earnable ship in game in the sense of like you can only earn it in game. Okay. Every ship will be sold because CIG can make money off of it.
It was kind of like the taboo moment, like the
they broke the last
moment for all ships.
They broke that last little latch of the last thing that said that they were like, oh, but we're still making video games, and it's like, nope, you are making a ship sales platform that has a game attached to it. And I don't mean that as like a super negative way, just more of a disappointment.
But it's too bad, you know what I mean? Because, and I'm not trying to hold the ship back from anybody. I'm just saying it did give some players the desire to want to go out there and get in the game to work for it. You know what I mean? And it didn't have to be even in Squadron, because I get some people aren't going to play Squadron. They still could have implemented it in the persistent universe, a way for people to get it and tied it into lore. I don't know. I'm just waiting until next week. I'm like, okay, let's see if next week they give us something that makes sense. You know,
well,
we'll see.
The reality is that it like Star Citizen's engagement in terms of like people logging in has been super low, because as much as CIG needs to promote 320 and 3.21, there's nothing interesting in 3.2 and 3.21 that is enough to drag people from their Baldur's Gate, their Starfield, their I mean, there's
the time of year, right? It's hard.
There's that Star Trek game that just came out, which is just Stellaris but Star Trek, and I haven't even been able to like blink at it. It's Stellaris Star Trek, and it's like, oh my god, yes. And then there's City Skylines 2 that's coming out.
That's coming out
in this month. Like, there are so many games that are releasing that are going to suck people's time away, that like CIG is just never going to be able to defeat them unless they release Pyro. So what do? They created this fantastic idea, which is really cool, and I'm sure their login shot up from being, you know, average to being peak. That they've probably close to what they see at Invictus or IAE one day. It's like, it's a brilliant move on that part. So, but you know,
can I weigh in on the? Go
ahead. I did too. After STEM.
Okay, faster. If you want to go first, feel free.
No. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So, my opinion might be a little bit unpopular here. So, you know, I also, similar to you, AstroPub, Paul, I've got both the F8C and the Executive Edition one as well. You know, just by bad choices early in life. but when I saw it go on sale, I thought, you know what, that's okay. You know, it would be a shame on me to think that this wouldn't happen. And I remember watching the Inforunners episode of, that was the episode, Sell Your Fighters.
Yes,
right. That was that episode.
Our best one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. 100% before they went all leak citizen. And like, I have so much respect for Inforunners, especially, you know, Execute and the whole crew. So it's not supposed to be a slight in any way, shape, or form. But what I have to say is with the Inforunners, like, you know, selling your fighters, that was so good. I took that advice. I sold all my fighters. I kept a couple. Like, I think I kept like the Freelancer Miss, because I think that one, it's not really a fighter, you know, it's more of a missile boat. I kept the my Super Hornet, which I think is great. And I think I paid like $260 for the Super Hornet, or $265 for the Super Hornet, something like that. And at that time, that was like the second time it came out. And I think originally it was $245 for the first price. But we're talking a long time ago, right? $245 and $265. And for them to release the F8C for $260, that was the price, right?
Yeah, 260 and 300.
Yeah.
And 300.
Yeah,
I think it's too cheap. So I have to agree with what Griffin, what you were saying, as far as, you know, the platinum version, which is, you know, if you find a dev out there that is flying, I can't remember exactly what it is, but, you know, you defeat the dev in it or something like that, then you get then you win one. I think that's awesome. And that's kind of like that lightsaber moment, you know, like you find a lightsaber somewhere, you become a Jedi somehow, and you find out the magical combination. You know, that is a great way to do it, to be able to sell it. I was disappointed. That's the exact terminology, that you used there, Paul. But I think that ultimately the price is too little. I think it should be more, because if you can buy a Super Hornet for 260 and you can buy an F8C for 260, is it really?
You're not buying a Super Hornet. Yeah, you're not buying a Super Hornet. Yeah.
So it's too cheap. I know it's F60 for Warbond and 300, which is a big jump between them. I recognize that, and I think CIG probably took that into account. But I would still say 330, 320 is probably the minimum that I would have offered that ship at.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'd have to look up what the other heavy fighters are, but I think they're around $300 too, like the Scorpius and the.
Yeah, and if it is that next gen, and the players did hype it up, so maybe it's not all that great in the end. I've flown mine. I cratered it because I'm terrible and I don't play the game very much. But it's
so the Super Hornet is only $180.
Right. It was 165.
Yeah. It was
165, but then it went to 180.
Okay, so I was totally out of the ballpark in that one.
Yeah.
What are other things going for in that range? In that
the Harbinger. I was going to get to my point, but I was going to say the Harbinger is $290, so it's $10 cheaper than 200, obviously. But yeah.
And then what do you Scorpius think is $240. So.
Okay. Yeah. So, my understanding is it's a super nimble fighter, right?
It flies like a dream.
Yeah. Super nimble.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
For a heavy fighter, it doesn't make sense, does it? So are they going to nerf that?
Oh, they will.
Or
I was going to say, you're stealing my answers. After the
go for it, Fast Cars. Go for it.
No, seriously, are you done?
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right, so I'm going to say it's $10 more than the Harbinger. You talk about it being too cheap. It's a single seater. It's a $300 single seater. So I could see them trying to make it, especially in US dollars. $300 for a single seater seems expensive to me anyway. But yeah, so what I'm going to say, people have been waiting for, especially Wing Commander and Praetorian, have been waiting for years for the F8, and for years and years and years they've been saying that when Squadron 42 releases, that people will be able to earn the F8 Lightning. But that was back when they thought Squadron 42 was going to come out in 2016 or 2014 or 2018. So they didn't anticipate Squadron 42 taking this long to come out. So I could see why they're releasing the F8C now rather than waiting for Squadron 42 to release. Because it's been a long time and people have been waiting for it for such a long time. And, I got an F8C. I melted a couple of ships to get this $300 outside credit one. I did not know that once I get one, it'll be unavailable I could not get another one. Because you can only have one per account, even if it's in your buyback, you can only have one, and even if it's in your buyback, it's technically still on your account. So people were expecting I can get a fleet of these. Yeah, nope, you can only get one. Even if you get another gold ticket, you won't be able to purchase another one.
I will put a damper on a lot of people. You 100% will be able to get this in-game with in-game cash. Right. I don't care if it's locked or not behind Squadron 42. Right. There is no chance in hell that you will not be able to buy an F8C in-game with in-game money. Right. You may not get it for free, but there's only a handful of ships which will not be available to purchase in-game, and those ships would be available to steal in-game. So that's the only thing to keep and remind people. It's you're not going to buy a ship and it's going to be exclusive to you forever. It's eventually it will be available to be purchased in game. So.
And for I make a couple of more things my fear, they've always said it'll be available once you complete Squadron 42. Mm-hmm. Now over the years, I've been worried that maybe they'll change their mind and say that just completing Squadron 42, you have to complete it on hard mode or maybe insane mode, the hardest difficulty, in order to get the FAC Lightning. So in order to, I know that CIG had not said anything to that effect. That's just me being fearful or paranoid. paranoid. So I decided to get one now in case, because there's no way I'll be able to complete that game on insane mode. So yeah, I got the F8C. I flew the rental. I loved it. Seeing all those guns fire at one point, I'm a spray and pray kind of pilot. So whenever a ship has more guns, I can play less. So yeah, the FAC is a great ship for someone like me.
And I will confess that he does spit all over his mic when he's playing. So that is the spray part. I just want you to know.